This is Sheets, and I am going to now fire off an invite to Bobby, and then I have to finish doing something. I'm not really prepared. Okay. One sec. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, man?
A little behind. I have to finish doing something, so if you could start, that'd be great.
So priorities I've got written out. Let me just start with the earlier games. Dinwiddie, priority play for sure. The main priority, whatever plays that I'll be in most of my lineups are Dinwiddie and Jokic. I do think there's ways around Jokic because there's enough center options now, but that's what I'm doing. I will be playing this Minnesota and New Orleans situation, but it's going to be like one or two of Jones, Graham, Hart, Jovel, Ingram. My favorites being Ingram and Hart. I'm going to eliminate Scotty Barnes and all this. We have to see who's starting for Toronto before I'm going to make that one. One of Bazley, Robinson Earl, or Crowder are the cheapos at power forward you can use, or small forward, and I believe Bazley's case. I still like Beverly a little bit, but I don't love him. One of Beverly, Cat, Russell, or Edwards. I don't mind if you want to use Beverly with one of those three. I prefer Edwards and Russell over Cat tonight. One of Ja or Bain, and then potentially one of Triple J or Anderson, as well as one of CP3 or DeAndre Ayton. Not really looking to stack all those up. Going to have to revisit this Toronto situation because I think they're going to get a lot more ownership, but what you're getting is Scotty Barnes is a guy who can create things, so you do get a little bit of a usage thing there. Gary Trent is not a particularly high usage guy, so Chris Boucher should get some more minutes. Ken Birch is supposed to start, and I think that's an interesting value point at 3,300. But he's center only on DraftKings, and I'm curious how the projections are going to like him. But I kind of like him actually at that price against Ayton here. And I think that he could actually, be one of the better value pieces. I will be playing a little bit of some of these other values. I mentioned the Bazley, JRE, and Crowder, but I don't think I'm going to go so far as to play Kispert. But KCP is a mid-tier, okay-ish value. You could take a shot on Kuzma as a higher end spend, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I do like the Bulls guys, both DeRozan and Levine on FanDuel. And I still don't mind Montrezl Harrell as a potential flyer, but more on FanDuel because of the center position being strong on DraftKings. That's the main thing. I still need to update because we just got the Toronto news before we came on.
What news? I don't even know what you're talking about. I've been doing these projections.
Scotty Barnes and Gary Trent are out.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty significant. So, yeah, we don't know who the other starter is. They did say that Birch would start for Barnes. Makes sense to match up with Ayton. And then it probably would be C, but they could end up going with a different type of thing and play Boucher. If Fee starts, I'm not all that excited about it, but he can certainly get hot enough, and we're sort of starving for some real value that we feel incredible about today. So a lot of happy birthdays for you in here, Sheets. Yeah, Divas Wolfpack. The Thunder are usually a trap, just so you know. Just in general, the Thunder play 12 guys. They have 12 guys available. They play all of the minutes. So even if there's guys out, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I'm okay with SGA. I'm okay with Giddey. I'm okay with Dort. and I'm okay with Baisley and Robinson Earl, but I don't feel at all like prioritizing any of those guys individually. I just will mix and match them in. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. But the spend up, I am going to have a couple Ja and Steph lineups, which feels a little thin, or Bane and Steph. I do really like Ja and Bane on DK especially. And then the Clippers guys I'm going to speculate that somehow this is going to go weirdly for Morris. But even if it doesn't, the prices on Batum, Terrence Mann, somewhat Amir Coffey, Zubac, and Reggie Jackson are all interesting enough to take shots on. Could throw Bledsoe in the mix, but I like Bledsoe better on FanDuel. That's sort of the overall how I'm looking at this slate.
I just need another couple of minutes and I'll be done here.
I'm going to answer a couple questions here. Any JVal love? Yeah, I do like JVal on FanDuel. I don't mind getting to him. You could play Ayton also. I'm not just playing Jokic on FanDuel, but I do think he's the best play. I want to mix it up a little bit, and I want some JVal. I want to throw even Zubac into a lineup or two, just for the size factor in this matchup. And, the price is reasonable enough to where I think he can get enough run to where 30 fantasy points certainly seems possible and allows you to differentiate your build. It's not my favorite thing, but I do have it a couple places. So I don't mind the idea of playing Valanciunas or Zubac on FanDuel or DeAndre Ayton. Even Gafford's in play, but I would probably temper my expectations with Harrell back, and may even prefer to play Harrell at power forward. And where if I play Harrell at power forward, I can play Zubac at center and just get a very different type of build with those two 4,900 plays, doing something different. But in order of center rankings on FanDuel, I would put Jokic 1, Valanciunas 2, Ayton 3, Zubac 4.
Let me ask you about a couple values. I think I overheard most of them, but you still have interest in did you mention Will Barton?
No, he got upgraded to probable this afternoon, so I didn't mention him.
Okay. I have him rated really high, actually. What about Jay Crowder?
Jay Crowder, yeah, he's one of the guys I mentioned.
Okay. And did you talk about Derek Jones Jr. at all?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just ugly value. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know why Barton would be jumping off of anything.
I don't know either. I just updated thing. This is like the first time I've looked in like a while.
So he's had 130 fantasy point game in his last 4. Hasn't gone. He has 5,500 on DraftKings. That is a reasonable price, but I think he's reasonable. I should just take that back. I think he's reasonable. It feels pretty similar to the Lou Dort play to me. But we know Barton can get aggressive and has some big games at times. It's just been a long time since we've seen one. But on DraftKings, I think he's a decent play. So I actually don't mind including him. I didn't realize they had him down to 5,500 because when I first went through my numbers this morning, he was not supposed to play. But Barton on DK is definitely viable.
I don't know how much of I'm going to build right now based on what I have. I don't know how much of I don't want to say of a lock of how much of this Dinwiddie I really am going to want.
You say that every time, and he crushes every single time.
He does, right?
He's averaging 47 a game without
Beal.
They do have more bodies back, but he has the ball in his hands the whole time. Yeah. But I'll be probably 50% in Liddy, maybe a little bit higher.
I'm very tempted to do this Morant Curry thing.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to do this the Minnesota New Orleans, some combination of that thing also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense to me. That's what I'm trying to force some of those guys in. And you're going to get some low ownership. There's plenty of low ownership on this slate out there because the projections may not like certain guys. I am curious how many people are going to now play Fred VanVleet and Siakam, and Anunoby too, who I like. So I think OG is actually probably the biggest beneficiary with these guys out, along with Kem Birch, who it may not feel good, but like Kem Birch can put up 40 fantasy points. He has that
Right.
possibility, and he's, you know, if he gets 26 minutes tonight instead of 20, like he can get, you know, even he can get 30. Like 30 is amazing at his price. So I do think Birch is going to get heavily into the mix for me, even though it sucks because I do like that position a lot. I'd rather find value elsewhere. But I mean, Birch versus Derek Jones, give me Birch straight up, but Jones has the position eligibility that's better.
I have a couple more to throw at you. Did you mention Montrezl Harrell at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's okay. I think it's very speculative. It wouldn't surprise me if he played like 15 minutes. That's the one thing you would worry about.
Okay. And we think that right.
Sentinel's asking for the guys under 5K. I just named everybody I'm playing under 5K, I believe. Trey Lyles is another one I didn't mention, and Iguodala, but I'll do it again.
And did you mention Anunoby?
Yeah, I just mentioned him minutes ago, but before that I hadn't. Yeah, he pops in with these guys out for me for sure. In fact, I actually think that OG is going to have to be a guy who I really actually try to go out of my way to prioritize. Right now, I'm leaning Crowder a little bit ahead of the other guys, but I'm not sure that's right. Just to be honest, like I think it could just as easily be Bazley or Robinson Earl. Yeah, and I like Josh Jackson a lot.
You have any Svi?
We don't know if he's starting. Let's wait to see what's happening with that. I wouldn't encourage people to try and make that decision yet.
And you mentioned, did you address Iguodala at all?
Yep, I do have more Iguodala than I want, but I'm going to live with it.
Yeah. Okay. And you're not locking in like Jokic or anything like that.
No, I think Dinwiddie's the best play on the slate.
Yeah, I'm currently in the builds I made. I don't want to say I lied. I was mistaken. I really didn't think I was going to get all of them. I'm actually getting 100 of him.
Yeah, I think he's a good play. But I'm not going to probably be that 100 on him. I think there's enough other guys to go to, especially with what his ownership's going to be. But I do think it's a good play. I currently have Russell in a lot of lineups right now too, and I'm probably going to lower some of that exposure. But I do like that game a lot. Probably have a little too much Russell though, to be honest with you. And I would rather have a little more Dinwiddie. And I agree. By the way, I agree with Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie's like, I don't care if he's 1,100 more on FanDuel. He's still like the best play. That's how much I think he's a good play tonight. So Dinwiddie. And then if I did one guy who no one's going to play, but like, we don't know for sure what's going to happen yet with this, but if Steven Adams is out for any reason, which he's questionable, Triple J is a great play. And I actually think he's in play anyway. So I don't mind that taking a shot there.
Let me see. Let me take a look at FanDuel and see if I have anything that's a little bit different. Valanciunas and Jokic at center. Boy, this Ingram keeps popping for me on both sides.
Yeah, I like Ingram too.
I don't think I'm getting.
Saben Lee is the one of the good. Yeah.
What'd you say?
Saben Lee. Saben Lee's a good play as well.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, with Joseph out, like he's been having fine games with Joseph in, but like especially even if you play the blowout angle, like he gets the run. He and Josh Jackson are the two guys I like a lot.
I like keeping going back to Josh Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's one of those situations where he rates to get minutes, I mean, like he's always has that ceiling. that upside.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me reset this.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, how can I do this?
Any early just to screw around? Any early any early leans in the football games?
I haven't even looked yet.
Okay.
Too early to. I actually looked at who was playing, but I can't even remember that off the top of my head at the moment.
Okay.
That's about as far as I've gone, I think.
Okay. And just to reiterate, everybody, if you guys want to have college basketball, my friend Jack / Potato Commish / the sharpest non-professional gambler I know has been freaking white hot, and he likes Alabama over Auburn today. Auburn's like 101, and Alabama's like giving them 2.5.
Mm.
Just the way I like it.
Man,
You'd have to believe that the crowd's rocking for an Alabama Auburn game as well.
Yep. Especially after last night, it's kind of weird,
That's true.
timing.
That's true.
You got the rivalry game right after the championship game they lost. That was a pretty good football game, though.
Depends on what kind of football game you like,
Well, I mean, it was just like I thought it was pretty well played. No.
I thought that quarterback was kind of a fraud. I don't know. I'd really never heard of any of these guys during the regular season.
Which
And
one?
I saw Bama play just like a couple of times. I think the guy stinks. I don't know.
You really do, Bryce Young?
I saw nothing out of him. I saw literally nothing. But what do I know? No.
Well, I mean, that's Georgia. I actually was amazed they were able
know.
to move the ball. Like Georgia doesn't. I mean, they shut out like half the teams they played this year. Harder Bane. It's Bane for me, but I kind of like both. Lot of happy birthdays for you here, guys. Popping any questions? Probably got another 15 minutes before I need to go because I got guys in my lineups who aren't even in, but I'm trying to edit some of them while we go.
Right.
Really trying to like this. I would rather try to figure out a way to play Ken Burch than Derek Jones Jr. I do have Derek Jones Jr. in some lineups right now, but man, this feels really, really suspect to be playing that guy. And like what? Like, I mean, there's really no ceiling. I don't know. It doesn't feel good.
To play who?
Derek Jones Jr. It's not a good play. It's just we're just looking for cheap.
Well, then don't play him. I mean, it's not a big deal.
No, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I do. I'm telling you, I have my builds, and then when you say stuff like that, whatever, I just X him. I mean, whatever. Let him beat me.
Yeah.
Let him beat me. It's worked for me. I mean, like, there's been like a grand total of like 2 times that I've like straight X the guy like that, and he's come back to like break the slate, like one of those cheapo value guys. I mean, they just
every now and then it's gonna happen. Yeah. Let's see. We've got Coffee or Gordon on FanDuel. Boy, that's a really nasty spot to be in. Gordon, but I hope Barton doesn't play, I guess. I don't know. I have Coffee on FanDuel as maybe one of the worst possible plays.
Okay.
I don't like. He's 5,400. I really don't know what we're thinking if we're playing Coffee. I would just rather. I know he put up 30 just because. I don't want to get too heavy into the game log watching, guys. It's too crazy. Everybody overreacts to it so much, and Coffee could end up playing like 12 minutes tonight. Now he might play 30 again, but there's no guarantee for this guy's minutes at all. And you could say, oh, it's been more consistent. Well, most of those games, Batum wasn't there. Some of those games, you had no Morris for 2 of them. You had no Boston for a few of them. You had no Ibaka for a few of them. It's just there's no guarantee that Coffee's going to get minutes. At least with Eric Gordon, he's going to play. I mean, Aaron Gordon, he's going to play. Both of them project terribly and seem like bad plays, but I would prefer to try. I mean, they're both not great plays, but like Gordon is gonna, like I said, Gordon's gonna play minutes. That's pretty much all I have there. And the Zamir Coffee, it just feels like I do have him mixed in a little bit on DraftKings, but on FanDuel at 5,400, it just feels like I would rather play Boucher than either of those guys. I'd rather play Man, Batum, OG on a higher level. I'd rather play Montrezl Harrell and just speculate. I think that's totally fine as well.
Did you say Batum?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? What's your thoughts on Batum here?
No, I like him.
Yeah, I do too. And the thing is, we also don't know that Coffee's starting. Like, that's the one other thing you could switch. You could always make a switch where if Barton's in and you wanted to play Coffee over Gordon, like, then you could just do it. Let's see. Yeah, we need to see I'd love to see, the Nuggets starting lineup where I was not going to get for a while, but I've come off of the guys early. I mean, the Will Barton being back is sort of makes all the other, like the Greens and Rivers, pretty low end, and Monty Morris, who I did like a little bit, but I don't think that it's as viable without Barton coming back.
And did you say you thought Saban Lee was playable today?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sort of the same kind of thing as a Josh Jackson. The worst thing is though that he's a point guard eligible, and at least Jackson's forward eligible.
Okay.
Point guard and center are the strongest positions in my opinion tonight. So, which is pretty much the way that.
Do you still like the guy from Memphis, the Desmond Bane?
Always.
Okay. Let me take a look at any of the questions and see what we have. Dinwiddie and Kuzma together. I don't mind that. I don't mind stuff like that, especially when one of the guys is going to get assists to the other. I don't know. I don't mind that.
Wait, which one is that?
Someone's saying he feels weird playing Dinwiddie and Kuzma together.
I don't particularly love the Kuzma thing. I mean, he can have a game, sure, but I would rather play Anthony Edwards. I would rather play D'Angelo Russell, and then play Kuzma at those prices. But again, he could always have a game, so I don't think it's that bad. But and yes, you can play them together. I think that's okay. They've both put up big numbers before when we've had this happen, and yeah.
Meanwhile, Bobby, you ready for the great mind F? I mean, I don't know.
What's that?
I tweeted this, so it's been now. I mean, my first symptoms from COVID was 14 days ago, so I'm like done, right? I'm still freaking testing positive.
It's crazy. Well, are you taking the other test? Is it just the antigen, or are you doing
I'm just doing the antigen. In other words, the PCR I could be positive for like 90 days, but supposedly the antigen is supposed to give me a break. But you know what? It's annoying because it's really, really faint, right? But it's like just enough to like make you like spend money on another test. They like really like just know their customer. It's like ridiculous. And I know I'm not supposed to, and I'm like wasting tests from other people could have whatever. But it's I need a support group. I can't help it. I just curiosity. it's just overwhelming. I mean, it literally doesn't matter at all, But it's just to see it. It's like just annoying. Anyway, what else we got? Morris or Jokic get ejected tonight. Well, did you find your prop line anywhere, Bobby? Your ejection line?
No, I didn't see it. I didn't look for it that hard, though, to be honest. I think it's Morris more likely to get ejected than Jokic, personally. But I do think there is. I mean, this is a thing. I don't know what it means. Usually, we can tell a little bit. We have a little bit of a better idea of what do these things even mean. I don't know for sure in this case what it means, to be honest with you. I don't think it's like a Marcus Morris is going to go crazy, and his price make it a little bit harder to get to him anyway. But I do think that he might go like crazy as a person, like if they get into it at all. And I don't know. It's a weird situation. I will have a lineup with both of them, and then I also am using it as a little bit of an excuse to try to maybe Jokic is a big sweet guy. He's pretty tough actually, but maybe he's too sweet to try and poke the guy whose brother he gave whiplash to, 35 games ago. I don't know. That's where I am at.
Wait, where does this go over here? Let's see.
All right, guys, looks like the questions are drying up. I'm going to go back to finishing my lineups if that's the case. Sheets, anything else before?
No, I guess we're good.
I don't think there's a whole bunch to go. And also, we only have the island game to start and the island game to finish. So, yeah. So it's going to be a lot of, as usual, a lot of late swapping. All right, guys. Well, good luck to everybody out there, and we hope you crush it tonight. Sheets, have a great birthday, man.
Thanks.
Right.
Good luck, everybody.
Take it easy.